Michelle, we're back. We're back and at the 8th step. Can you believe it already?
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing. This is just, again, really wraps up the 8 steps and brings it to, for me anyways, a very, very high level. So do you want to read it or go ahead?
I want to read it. I dedicate my life. I dedicate my life. I believe in my divine good and in the powerful promise that connects us all. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to those around me. I commit to living my life in a manner that sets the highest example for others to follow. And I am open and responsive to divine guidance. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. I am at peace.
I just love this step. And, actually today I had a whole experience around this and around these 8 steps. And, you and I use them in our own lives and, we set our intentions and, I'm so grateful for the so many blessings and opportunities, breakthroughs and transformation in this. And, this morning, myself, I was triggered by my ego by something in the outer world, which really started my day off in not in peace. And, as I look at all the 8 steps, the number 1 is to surrender that ego. But that took practice. All this is, it's saying here, dedicating my life, it's about practicing it. So fortunately, with the practice, and this takes time, it took time for me to generate the practice or to continue the practice. And I knew right away when I was out of it, I need to call on for help. And that's exactly what I did is I called on to the Holy Spirit. That's from A Course in Miracles perspective for me. And I was in communication, sharing what was happening. And in the midst of all of that, I got to a point of being in that space of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy, because I was given in that moment the gift of this work that I am so grateful to have the opportunity to share with others. That's my joy in life. And that's what this work does. When you share, set the intention. My intention is to be of service. It says it in here, maximum service to women and women in, raising their consciousness to be, adept in their self-love. So I'll leave it at that for the moment. Allow you to put something in here. The divine guidance, was right there, and I was brought to tears. And for me, that was a God moment. That was a mastermind moment. It was a higher consciousness moment, and brought to tears with gratitude for this work. And here I am with you a few hours later, being so enthusiastic and excited and in expectancy for being able to share. So I just thank you for letting me share that, Michelle, to get started and to share it with others, because this is what this work does for me. And,
yes.
And I want to give it away.
Really brilliant, because it's really about dedicating your life to a higher purpose.
Yes.
Most of us, without these kinds of practices and without the support of a community of people, some people have their church or their work crew or, their friends, their family members, some place where they go to tap in and refuel. We're offering this as an option to do that. But it's not just refueling from each other, but we're tapping in together to our own divine nature. We're tapping into that which is higher than us. And that's what this particular step is directed at. It's not just believing in the higher power.
Yeah, no.
It's about dedicating your life to be of maximum service in partnership with it.
Yes.
right? For the good of yourself and others, right? That's the force in the background that connects us all with this promise that if we seek it out, we will find it.
Yes.
We'll find the connection, we'll find the power, we'll find the source. And that's what this is all about. This is what we're inviting people to. And I just love that this is available.
And that was my experience this morning. And again, it doesn't mean that this happens for me every time. This means practicing it, because I was given, the divine guidance to continue to proceed with this work. And, that it was such a beautiful moment. I'll remember that in experiencing the higher power, my higher power, God, the mastermind. And it's amazing work.
Absolutely. So let's pick this apart a little bit. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we talked a little bit about what it looks like to be dedicated, or dedicating your life to this purpose, your commitment to serving your divine essence. What do you hear when you hear, I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to those around me?
Well, when you started to speak about it, I'll tell you one other aspect maybe we can pull into this is that in the whole process is that we go within and really get clear about what our intentions are and bring those intentions, to the group. And maximum service for me is to do this work. And out of doing the work, I can be my authentic self. And in being that authentic self and being at a deeper level of love for myself, right in that whole space, I'm available to be of maximum service to those who are sent to me. And Michelle, you and I experience this all the time. It's about spirit, the mastermind, the higher consciousness directing us. And when I'm in that space, I am of maximum service. It's my beingness. And, you mentioned it earlier, it doesn't matter the size of it. A smile on my face is being maximum service to somebody who needs a smile that day or that moment.
Yes, so true. A smile, a prayer, a song, a hello. It might be a call, it might be a meal, it might be time with you. Whatever it is, that you make yourself available for it. But most people I'm working on interrupting the most people statement for myself.
I got it.
But what I'm saying, most people I've been encountering, right? My clients, my family, people around me, right? What I've noticed as a pattern is that the thought pattern to be of service is first and foremost, for sure, but it's usually at the cost of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's be of service first before you actually connect here. But what we're saying is it's really important to connect here first.
Yes.
To be of maximum service. All the steps that came before this is about anchoring yourself to that divine power so you can maximize what's available in you and through you to be of service to those people in your life. And if you don't currently have a practice to do that, you end up giving from an empty vessel. This is why people end up tired and exhausted and uninspired by what they're doing, or they're doing the service, but they're arguing with themselves. They're having these, why am I even doing this? I can't believe this is happening to me again. I keep doing this, and what about my stuff? And right? It keeps rattling on and takes them off the mark. But if you're actually following this process to tap in, to be energized first, right? You get your own spirit charged in the space of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. Then when you go to be of service, that's what's serving. And the quality of the care and the service that you are able to provide when you're in that state is distinct from making it happen from not being charged.
Yeah. And if everything you just said, Michelle, lines up completely with the next line, it says, I commit to living my life in a manner that sets the highest example for others to follow. And it starts with exactly loving me, being connected with me. You said that. You said it so beautifully, and put it all together with that particular statement in dedicating your life. And yes.
See, if I'm taking care of myself, and that becomes the example, then the people around me start taking care of themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
The way we serve isn't to handle the basic stuff, because the basics get handled by the individual. What gets handled in the service is the expansion of that person, their intentions, their wishes, their dreams, their aspirations that are beyond the basic. So you end up not only being able to survive the moment, survive the situation, survive what's happening, but you can thrive in it because, one, you're not doing the journey alone anymore. You're supported. You have now a community of people available to be of service from that space of divine energy, that space of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
You know, and as myself, and I know for you and your own journey, that when it says, I believe in my divine good, again, you know, and that's what gets generated as the group grows together in the practice of the mastermind principles, is that you and I are observant for and stand in and witness, because we know there's divine good in everyone. And no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the story is, no matter what's going on in life, in the sacredness of this space that we hold, we know the love, we know the truth, and we know the divine good in every human being. Because you and I strive to live that from our own lives. And it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy. It can be simple at some level, but it's not always easy, because it takes a commitment and a dedication and a devotion to dedicate our lives to this.
Yes. And you bring us to a really great point here, because when you dedicate yourself to something, the past has to be not in your face smacking you.
Yes.
That's what those previous steps were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever tendencies you might have had, habits, attitudes, that might get in the way of your availability to hear divine guidance in the first place, and then to be of service without having any concerns, that's handled. So you get to this step, you're already clear, your mind is clear, your heart is clear, and together they create this space of openness, of availability and creativity that you can't tap into without that being complete, right?
Yes.
Have the opportunity to let go of your ego and all the bounds and constraints that brings about for life.
Yeah, if I wasn't able to surrender my ego this morning, I could still be dancing in the story of it all, from some past beliefs, some past thinking patterns. And again, the space of forgiveness was present, letting go of any judgment I had about myself in that moment, and then to ask for the help and the support. And then again, that the whole space of everything is possible, not from what just I know from the past, as you mentioned, the past, not from what I know. It's like this whole new future opens up. And that's where, like this morning, to be able to experience that God moment, that was a brand new experience related to what was going on at that time in that moment for me. And as we set the intentions, and as the group members set their intentions, this is what, we really speak to with regards to them being a witness to how whatever the intention one has set, what is being brought in by the mastermind to be able to take the next right step, take the next right action, so that intention gets fulfilled. And there's where the whole, going forth then in the spirit of enthusiasm and excitement and expectancy becomes available when we can let go of that past, as you said, and be at peace with this present moment.
Yes. So I imagine that this is just something I invented to support me in understanding how the ego and the essence of my higher self work together in this particular form called me. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that there's a me, the egoic human automatic response self, and the higher self that sits and is my witness and my guide, right? They're both wanting the best for me. This egoic self is patterned from the past. It only has access to what I already know. It only has access to who I've already been, and not just me, but what my DNA is programmed with from my ancestry, right? Mm-hmm. Over here, on the other hand, has access to everything that ever was, will be, and is. And I get to bring them together, where this one with the programming for how my body moves and all that gets to surrender itself to the one that actually knows everything. And together I become one with myself, one with my divine nature. It's not things fighting, but they're now working together for my good. Right? I now can use the computer that is the ego settings with the browser that is my spirit, and have a full system that services me with all the information I need to be my best self and serve myself and my community for the highest good. It's when I invented that conversation for myself, I saw myself acting and moving through life a lot differently. I allowed for the people in my life to be the way they are and the way they're not. There was a level of acceptance of myself and them, and a oneness, because I started realizing that there wasn't the gap I thought there was between myself and the people around me. And so there was a lot more freedom to enjoy people as I met them, as I interacted with them, and a higher level of cheer and satisfaction from my day started showing up, and a new level of appreciation. So gratitude just went up and through the roof for me. And that's basically the experience I invite people to for themselves, right? They don't have to follow the way I do it, but my example allows for a space for them to invent what works for them. Some freedom and ease. And that's what this is talking about. You then become the example in your community for what's possible. And they don't have to follow you exactly. It's just a framework to say something is possible beyond where we started off, beyond where we knew ourselves to be. And let's give it a shot. It's an invitation for expansion.
When you said that, about the, the ego and the divine self, the higher self, in the oneness of it all, is that, it's to, as I see it, somewhat to befriend your ego, to be a witness of your ego. It's to observe your ego. It's not to push it away, repress it, make yourself wrong about any of it. And, because we are human beings, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And it's important to be able to distinguish both in our lives and to dance with it. I heard that's what the word I was coming out with, is to dance with the ego. And for me, that brings a little bit more lightness and ease and fun as I continue to undo the ego in those moments. But the past was quite a struggle around it. But this work brings freedom. It brings joy. It brings love and abundance. And I know, Michelle, you and I can go on with this probably till tomorrow because we love this work. We love to share. We love people. And so let's take this few moments now, and I'll start. We will be starting mastermind groups again in September 2022. And whenever you might be listening to it, we plan to do this for as long as Spirit is directing us, and we feel that's a long time ahead. But we'll be starting some groups, and you can find us on Facebook individually. And I have a website, Sue Onishchuk, all one word, .com. And you can find out more about me there. Michelle, what about yourself as we move forward?
Yes. The Conversation Boutique is the
yes.
I'm affiliated with. I'm the founder and CEO of that company. And we have a YouTube channel where these videos are being broadcast. We have a podcast. Look us up. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Play, Google Play, Apple Podcast, I should say. We also have our Facebook group. This is where most of our interactions with our extended group outside of our sessions are held. And if you want to participate with us on Facebook, you really could. We do have some public forums there. And
And we've got some future plans in the works at the moment, and we will be keeping you informed with regards to what's next as we expand. And
yeah, and you can become a member of our group at our website, The Conversation.
All right. Is there anything more?
No, I am at peace.
Yes, I am enthused and I'm excited, and it's great expectancy for what Spirit has for us next in terms of the service that we have to offer. And I'm at peace as well.
Well, thank you so much for having this session go as well as it has. Thank you for being with me for the offering of the 8 steps and having it be introduced to our community. And I'm looking forward to doing more sessions with you.
It's an honor and a privilege. Damn, we're good. Oh. Stop the recording.